Hello, my name is Steve Lane. I'm a rock and roll musician, and I'm a vinyl junkie because I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I want to rock. Rock. Today, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite bands of all time. They're definitely in my top 5. This band is very important to me. I discovered them on a whim, on a recommendation at the record store, and I've been hooked ever since. I'm talking about Mike Joyce, Andy Rourke, Johnny Marr, and of course, Stephen Patrick Morrissey, also known as The Smiths. And we're going to be diving into the 6 Smiths albums I have right in front of me here. They really only had 6 proper releases, 4 proper albums, and 2 compilations. We're going to get into it right now, coming up.
Made in the USA.
Hello, and thanks for joining me here today on RAWK TAWK. If you haven't already liked or subscribed what you're seeing, if you like it, I would really appreciate it. It helps the algorithms, and this channel is still in its growth phase. So, why do I like the Smiths so much? What the heck? What is the big deal with these guys? You know what I love about them, for one, is they're never on the covers. I mean, they only had a few albums, but they took their images from old movies, and that was Morrissey's idea. And Johnny liked it as well. What happened was I got introduced to them by going to the record store, which I went all the time. That's probably one of the first places I remember driving to, was my favorite record store. It was in Albuquerque in New Mexico. That's where they filmed Breaking Bad, for those of us not in the USA. And even if you are in the USA and you don't know where Albuquerque is, just watch Better Call Saul. It'll tell you all about it, or Breaking Bad. So I went down to the record store all the time, probably about twice a week. I probably bought about a record or 2 a week, and I got in trouble for it a lot from my stepdad, but whatever. They told me I should check out the Smiths, the guys at the record store, and I bought a 12-inch single. It was the paint splatter version of William It Was Really Nothing. And then after that, on that same side, after William It Was Really Nothing, was Please, Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want. Then he flipped it over, and it had the iconic How Soon Is Now, which has been dubbed by some people as the Stairway to Heaven of the 80s. And I was hooked. That's the first thing I heard, was How Soon Is Now. I'd never heard it before. They never really got any radio play. They weren't on MTV. And this is what, about 1985, early 1985, I believe. And I was just blown away. I could not believe what was coming out of my speakers. I was like, what the heck is that? And then I flipped it over, and there's 2 completely different songs. A little bit more acoustic. One was a waltz. One was an up-tempo song. And they're just brilliant songwriting, different lyrics. I'd never heard a voice like that before. I'd never heard lyrics like that before. And I'd never really heard guitar like that before either. I was hooked, and I immediately went out and got, I wish I still had that 12-inch single. Tragic that I lost it. Went out and got this. This is Meat is Murder. This is their second proper album. And again, I fell in love with it. The only song I don't like by them, well, there's a couple, but I don't like Meat is Murder, the song. I just don't. Not really the lyrics so much as just the sound of it, the feel of it. Not a big fan, but that's all right. I like almost every other song of theirs. One other song on the debut album too, but regardless, I don't even want to go there. This album's knockout, but we're going to go by these chronologically. I'm just giving you the history of how I got introduced to them. And then from there on out, I was hooked. Now, how they began, if you're curious, and if you're a Smiths fan or a Morrissey fan, I would highly recommend, if you haven't already, check out the movie England Is Mine. And it's a really cool biopic, and it does not tell the story of the Smiths, only Morrissey, but you get where some of these lyrics came from. Oh, I never had a job because I never wanted one, girlfriend in a coma. A lot of these lyrics kind of came from Morrissey's upbringing in Manchester. So, it's a great movie. I'd highly recommend it. Like I said, it does not get into the story of the Smiths. At the end of the movie, actually, spoiler alert, Johnny Marr knocks on the door and Morrissey opens it up and they start talking for a little bit. And that was it. That's all you get to see. Up to then, he was playing with Billy Duffy, who went on to be in the Cult, as most people know. And so the Cult sounds nothing like the Smiths. And so it was kind of cool that they they parted ways amicably, and I believe Billy Duffy is the one that actually eventually introduced him to Johnny Marr, Morrissey that is. Hey, if you don't already know, I am a musician, and I've got one song out right now because we're releasing a bunch of other songs as the months go on. The song is called Till I'm Gone, and it is very much how I was feeling about 13 years ago when the lyrics were written, and the lyrics couldn't be more relevant today. Check it out, please. Till I'm Gone. I'm going to post some links below. So let's get back to these records. We're going to be talking about these records. This is their debut album, The Smiths. Where the name came from is Morrissey, just one of the most common name out there because he says ordinary people should be given a chance. I'm butchering his quote, but it's something along those lines. But yeah, that's it. The Smiths. That's the most common name out there. And he wanted all these songs to be about common people living common lives. And that's exactly what he did. These songs were not about him. These songs were about characters. It's pretty cool. It's different. This is their first album, and I like it. I can't say it's my favorite, but it needed to be done. They needed to have a first album, obviously. And what they did was, from what I understand, is they released, they tried to get a deal for a while. Didn't happen. They tried with EMI. Didn't happen. They tried with Factory Records, which is New Order, and a lot of bands that came from the Manchester scene like that. That didn't pan out. And then eventually they got in touch with Rough Trade Records, and they released their first single, which is Hand in Glove. It did all right. It didn't do too bad for a first single of an independent band, or back then I don't even know what we called it back then. I just called it new music. I didn't know what else to call it. They were definitely not new wave. Today we call it alternative or indie rock or what have you, but back then we didn't have those types of terms. The big break was the first song, Hand in Glove, getting it recorded and released with a controversial cover, by the way. Their other big break, they got on the John Peel Show, which is a huge BBC iconic radio host from back in the day. And the John Peel sessions are famously here on Hatful of Hollow, which is their first compilation album. And they recorded 14 songs for their first album with this producer, and they didn't quite like the sound of that producer, so Rough Trade found them a different producer named John Porter, and that's who produced this album, their debut album, The Smiths. It's really good. I like almost every single song on here, except for one. But it's okay. It's not the worst song. When I play it, my wife gets annoyed and my child gets annoyed, but I won't even tell you which one it is. If you know this album, you might feel that you might not like that song either that much, but that's okay. I still listen to it, whatever. Okay, now this wasn't technically their second album, but it was their second release. It is a compilation album called Hatful of Hollow. This is the one where I really got into the Smiths. Now, I bought this after I bought Meat is Murder, but this is where I got to really listen to them. A lot of these songs are the John Peel sessions, other alternate takes of these songs off their first album. And this one also additionally has all three of those songs that were on the first 12-inch single I got. How Soon Is Now, Please, Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want, and William, It Was Really Nothing. Now, from what I understand, all three of those songs were written on the same day and the same afternoon by Johnny Marr, the music. And he put them all three on a cassette, and wow, the Smiths sound was changed forever. Can you imagine writing three amazing songs like that in one afternoon? Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. This album is neat because it's gatefold with a really cool photo, a very iconic photo of the Smiths inside of it. I like every single song on this album. As far as compilations go, they only did 2 compilation albums, and this is by far my favorite, even though there's only 2 of them. But overall, this is one of my favorite Smiths releases ever. I might even put it up there at number 1. It's tough because I can't really rate these because they're all fantastic. If I had to choose one, if I was stuck with only one Smiths album for a while, it was probably going to be Hatful of Hollow. So that was their second release. And then their third release, their second album, was Meat is Murder, the one that I just talked about just a little bit ago. This one is when they start to really spread their wings with the songwriting and the production. It is great. Headmaster Ritual, that's a song about cruelty to students in Manchester schools. Very similar to, hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. British teachers back in the day, woo boy, not nice from what I understand. I know most of the stories behind these songs, so I'm not going to bore you with that. Every single song on here is great, except for, in my opinion, Meat is Murder. I'm not a big fan of it. I still listen to it. Barbarism Begins at Home. Great groove on that. Again, it's a smack on the head. Is what you get for asking, is what you get for not asking. Cruelty to kids. Again, it's a remarkable album. It's the first proper album I got of theirs, and I play it all the time. Love it. Don't know what else to say about it. It's fantastic. I remember the day that this album came out. This is The Queen is Dead. A lot of people say that this is their finest work. It's a great album. Again, I remember driving to my favorite record store, and the day it came out, I had to get the import because the domestic one wasn't out yet. Of course, it was on vinyl. I don't think there's a bad song on here. It's remarkable. If I had to make one change, I would flip out Vicar in a Tutu on side 2, flip her over to side 1, and take Cemetery Gates from side 1, the last track, and put it in place of Vicar in a Tutu. That would be a perfect album side. Every single song would be remarkable. And that's just my opinion. I can't do that because this is a vinyl record, of course. But if you think about it, it'd be Big Mouth Strikes Again. Oh, such a great song. The Boy with the Thorn in His Side. Then Cemetery Gates. Then There Is a Light That Never Goes Out. Oh my gosh, what a song. And then Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others. All of those in a row, that would be a perfect album side. So it's a near perfect album side. But overall, it's a great album. A lot of people say it's their best. I think it's definitely up there. Okay. Then their second compilation album is this one, Louder Than Bombs. This is a double album. A lot of these songs are popping up on Hatful of Hollow. They're kind of all over the place. This is what my son affectionately calls the Orange album. Are you going to play the Orange album? He likes it. I like it. It's great. I mean, a ton of songs, 4 album sides. It's fantastic, actually. All right. Then comes their final album from 1987, Strangeways, Here We Come. This is them, again, spreading their wings a little bit more in the studio. I wouldn't say it has a little bit more of a commercial song, but it's a lot more accessible. And they had a couple music videos with it and whatnot, which they hadn't really done much before with them in it. This is my wife's favorite Smiths album. She knows most of the words to most of the songs. It's fantastic. I love it. 6 albums, 2 compilations, 4 proper albums, and none of them were bad. I would say there's like about 2 songs out of their entire collection that I'm not a big fan of. I still listen to them, but that's pretty good. I don't know too many other acts that I like every single song that they do ever. I can't think of one artist or one band or one duo, anything that I like every single song, period. This is the closest I can come to that. And I got thousands of CDs and records, and I'm a music junkie. I'm a very picky guy. Thanks for letting me rant about one of my all-time favorite bands. I highly recommend getting their entire collection, especially if you're a musician. If this kind of music isn't your thing, if you don't like Morrissey's voice or you don't like his lyrics, if you can, just listen to Johnny Marr and that amazing guitar of his. Listen to Mike Joyce. Listen to Andy Rourke on bass. Mike Joyce is a good drummer. Andy Rourke is an amazing bass player. From what I understand, I hear Johnny Marr wrote the bass parts. I don't know that to be exactly true. A lot of Smiths people say that he did. Doesn't matter. The bass is awesome. Rest in peace. He's been gone for a little over a year now. It's a great bassist. One of my favorite bass players actually is Andy Rourke. Anyway, if you're a musician and you've never really listened to the Smiths, I highly recommend it just to listen to Johnny Marr. If you don't like Morrissey's voice or lyrics, I get it. Listen to Johnny Marr. Listen to the guitar. Listen to the way he puts these chords together. Listen to the production. It's amazing stuff. Thanks again for joining me on RAWK TAWK. I'm Steve Lane. Take it easy. Talk to you soon.
Made in the USA.